Hello, Guardians. Welcome back to Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Deerigan. Alongside me, as always, is the defeater of nightmares, my secret mission, Josh Finney.
That makes it sound like, I don't know, we got a thing going on behind the scenes.
Hey, you know what? Listeners can make up their own mind. I said what I said.
Corey, I'm going to tell you, I just watched Heat. I don't know if you've ever seen Heat. I would hope you have. Because it's a fucking classic. And I'm talking the good Heat, not, as I had to clarify for our friend Ray, the good Heat, not the bad Heat. So not the one.
I wasn't aware there was more than one movie called Heat.
I wasn't either, but I have to clarify, apparently. It is not the Melissa McCarthy one. We're talking...
Oh, the comedy with Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy. Okay, yeah.
We're talking the good Heat, the classic one from Michael Mann.
Yeah, okay. I forgot that other one
existed.
Never
allow anything to be in your life.
I forgot the other Heat existed, and you casually just reminded me. And
I was reminded, so you have to be reminded.
I will not be thanking you for that.
Anyways, Heat's a fucking classic movie, but never allow anything to be in your life you cannot walk out on in under 30 seconds if you spot the heat around the corner.
Note.
It's great.
Okay.
It's fucking great. It's a great movie. Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. The first time they ever shared a scene together in a movie is, believe it or not, Heat.
What?
Yep. It's not Godfather Part 2, which is what a lot of people think of. They're in the same movie in that one, but they are in different parts of the movie. They're in different times.
Yeah, I was going to say, weren't they in that movie together? But I guess...
That was where the friendship started, and they were always friends off screen. It took until Heat. And, of course, the first scene they share is the tensest scene of the entire movie. Oh,
that makes sense.
Love it. Love it. God bless you, Val Kilmer.
That
Great
makes
movie.
Sense. Well, Josh.
Well, Corey.
We have a lot to get through. We have a lot to do. We have a lot to talk about.
We have a lot to talk about this week.
So I'm going to rely on you. I did do the secret mission.
Okay.
I did do the story mission.
Okay, so
that's all I've gotten to.
Okay, so you've done the LMG quests that you get from Nimbus, and you have done Vexcalibur.
Yes.
All right. So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we were gifted the amazing Epilogue quest. I touched on it a little bit last week. We also, at the time of this recording last week, the Strand fragments had just unlocked for everybody. So we got I've gotten those done and gotten the final warning sidearm. We're gonna talk a little bit about that tonight. Ooh. We're gonna talk about Winter Bite. That is a fucking insane heavy weapon.
Yeah.
So much so that it's been disabled for day 1 in the raid.
Yeah, I kind of figured that was coming. Did you? I mean,
God.
I'm just throwing it out there. I figured that was coming.
I also figured it was coming, and I was still somehow surprised. And then, lo and behold, Bungie comes out. Thought it was kind of a relatively quiet week for the story. Awesome battleground this week in the Cosmodrome. And then I'm hanging out with our friend Andre, and he goes, "Hey, man, I'm going to send something to you in our Discord chat." He goes, "Can I?" He's like, "I'm going to DM you something. Is there any truth to this?" And he sends me something about a secret mission. We go to the EDZ to investigate, and lo and behold, because we're playing like 45 minutes after reset, we're like, holy shit, there's a secret mission. The next 45 minutes were very chaotic. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. So we're going to talk seasonal story. We're going to talk all the exotics. We're going to talk all the exotic quests as much as we can. Give a few more impressions of Strand now that we've been able to completely build out our subclasses, and wonderful threat of Ascent has been disabled for the raid race. We're going to do the Schwab. We're going to talk final raid prep, and we're going to have a big lore corner tonight. We've got a couple pieces to read for the lore corner.
Yeah, lore corner.
Oh my God, I finally have had time to sit down and start reading some of the stuff for the season. The lore books are still classified in the API, but there's so much attached to these armor and weapon sets that we have to talk about. So, Corey, let's just jump into it. We're gonna save the Schwab for later. There's not a whole lot in there. We're gonna save that for later. Let's jump right on into that epilogue quest.
Yeah,
man. So I touched on it a little bit last week. Have you used the gun at all?
I mean, a small amount, nothing to make a full judgment on.
Okay.
But
What'd you think of the quest? What'd you think of going back to the Black Garden for this?
I mean, I thought that was a nice touch. I thought it was cool.
Hmm.
I think it ties it into Garden of Salvation, right? That's the quest where you kind of go back there. I think that was
Yeah,
like a kind of cool callback to that and Destiny 1, obviously, but like I thought it was
yeah,
cool.
yeah. Let's talk to Destiny One connection for a second.
Yeah,
We
because isn't that like I mean, that's it's connected to Destiny 1 that
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead,
yeah.
sorry.
So
I'm
it's connected to Destiny One because we're sent on this kind of wild goose chase that
mhm,
Rohan essentially left, not necessarily for us to chase, but that he was investigating uh, the nature of the Veil before the city went into lockdown and everything, and we kind of chase his notes and come to determine he had gone into the Black Garden investigating,
mhm,
and we get it revealed to us that the black heart that we destroy in Destiny 1, and I love that we come back to this because we've never gone back to this. The black heart was the witness's attempt to recreate the veil.
mhm.
Um and he
Which is a
uses
great kind of like I don't know if that was retcon or not, but like that was a kind of a
That's
cool
absolutely a
tie-in.
retcon. It's absolutely a retcon because we've always wondered, like, what's up with the soul divisive? Why are the soul divisive, this special um why are they this special sect of Vex and this and that? Like
Mhm,
we know that sect specifically worships the darkness, and then it's kind of hinted that the Vex essentially rebel during it, like when they make it, like they still worship it and whatnot. And we know that it was functional enough to a degree that it was quote poisoning the Traveler in
mhm,
Destiny One. This was
mhm,
kind of a way to retcon all that, I think, considering by Destiny Two they firmly had it in place the Pyramid Fleet.
mhm,
By the beginning of Destiny Two,
mhm,
that they knew that they didn't really have that aim for the 3 years of Destiny 1. Um, this was a way, I think, to loop some of that back into, like, to loop the vanilla content back into some meaningful storytelling because outside of Mara and Uldren, what have we really done with that? I think the final piece of the puzzle is we're going to loop in Elsie talking over the radio. Admittedly, this is a lot harder. This has been my prediction for a couple of years now. We will eventually go into a time loop, and that's where Elsie will be talking to us. That we're who she's talking to while she's talking to us.
mhm,
Very confusing. If you haven't played Destiny 1 in a long time, I'm talking about the scene where she first talks to us on the moon and tells us to go to the Ishtar Academy on Venus. I was really hopeful we would get out the Venus. I think there's definitely still some possibility. Um, but to see this come full circle was really cool. And then, so you're chasing the consecrated mind backwards through the Garden of Salvation raid. Really cool. There's some really meaningful dialogue. This is the quest line where I think Nimbus goes from being an annoying buffoon of a character to, well, damn, I actually really like what they did with the character here.
mhm.
Um, to the point where they leave you Rohan's machine gun and you basically just cut your way through the rest of the mission with it. Whole lot of fun, especially if you have the right artifact mods. Whole lot of fun. But you get to the end, you're like, why are they taken here? Why are they taken here? And you basically determine it's the witness is trying to cover their tracks. They don't want the Guardian finding out what they were doing in the garden. What were they doing in the Black Garden? The truth of the Black Heart. But it eventually comes down, they don't care about recovering the core of the consecrated mind. They just wanted the consecrated mind destroyed. The witness didn't think that we were going to show up into the garden and take the core. They just thought, oh, we'll just destroy the consecrated mind and that'll be it. But we basically save it before it goes into the Vex milk.
Vex
That
milk.
this kind of adds into, and we're going to talk about Excalibur in a little bit. This is one piece of the puzzle that we're kind of starting to see the Vex emerging through these couple of through Excalibur, through some of the story stuff. The Vex are kind of emerging as the thing that the Witness cannot plan around. And I've got a little bit of a theory. The game between the Gardener and the Winnower that you can read about in the Unveiling lore book. I may have to do a series on it if we hit like a really slow part of the season towards the end of this. I might
Mhm.
need to read some pages from that lore book, but basically hints at a game, like a cosmic game gets played. And I'm starting to wonder if the Vex were because the Vex kind of exist outside of space and time.
Right.
Do they exist in all the different timelines? What if the Vex were the original winners of the game before things hit the big reset? Before they hit a
Mhm.
big reset button? That would make a lot of sense to me. Why they just kind of don't have any affiliation and they seem to attack both forces almost equally, with the exception of the Soul Divisive, and now with Asher kind of fucking around in the Vex network. I'm starting to wonder that a bit. This is a really, really, really awesome mission for longtime fans, for fans who remember the chaos that was Destiny 1. And honestly, for those who really care about lore, like, I don't care if you're gonna retcon it into mattering. Like, I'm just glad that it does.
Right.
Elsie was retconned into someone who mattered. The Exo Stranger became someone who finally mattered. It just took us until Beyond Light to get there. You
Yeah.
know, Uldren Sov became someone who actually mattered. We know that from the beginning that Crow was supposed to be a character similar to Cade, and I would say he's a more serious Cade right now.
Yeah.
Um, Mara's been greatly expanded from what she originally was in Destiny 1. It's been so nice to go back to so many of these threads over the last couple of years and see how important they are in the lead up to the final shape. So, with that being said, I want to answer one of our listener questions right off the bat right now. Dealer wrote in and asked, "What the fuck is the Veil?" I have a feeling we're going to answer this a few times over the course of the year. We simply do not know, but this quest gives us a little bit of a hint as to what it could be. It
It
is
seems like, I mean, it just seems like a battery that right now, right? I mean,
so
essentially.
Yeah. So my best guess as to what it is because Callus essentially is a red herring in the campaign. This is why, like, the more I sit on the campaign, the more I actually think I kind of like the story.
Mhm.
I'm still really irked with the whole veil thing and how it's not explained, because I think this close to the end of the saga, you had to give us a few more answers than just more questions. But Callus being the red herring, knowing that Callus would chase us and we would chase him, simultaneously, we would end up at the Veil. And as soon as Callus was, because Callus was just a tool. The Witness never intended for Callus to be a truly powerful servant of it.
Mhm.
Not in the way that Rolk was. We'll put it that way. Rolk was wholly devoted. Callus just saw this as a way to party until the end of time.
Mhm.
When the going got tough, Callus got punked,
Right.
and take control of our ghost at the end, and there we go. Because it's not the first time our ghost has been taken control of by the Witness. We can now essentially deduce that the being that we see in the Black Garden at the end of Shadowkeep that we're talking to, when we see the reflection of ourselves, that's the first encounter we have with the Witness as the Guardian.
Mhm. Yeah.
My best guess for the Veil is that it's not necessarily a battery, but I think that it's an artifact that is similar in nature. I'm going to use this word, we used it last week, paracausal. And I'm using that word because I don't really have another word to use. So, like unexplained supernatural phenomena, like space phenomena. It seems to be an artifact that is similar in nature to not just like the Traveler and the Pyramid fleets, but I'm going to draw a comparison to something that's in our collections that we only have one thing in this tab, in the collectibles tab, and that's the Ascendant lens.
Mhm.
I want to draw some parallels to the Dreaming City, to Mara's observatory, where we used to go through to get to the throne world, to get to her throne, during Forsaken. I want to kind of draw some parallels there because those are similar, albeit smaller devices, but I think those are kind of similar on the same level. This is something that, Nezarak's dialogue during everything, during exploring the Amuna and during the strike and things like that, where he's like, so the witch didn't ruin you. Good.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
we have some hints that this is something that likely was found elsewhere, and Savathun hid the veil on Neptune. And it kind of an ingenious idea, right? It's hidden, the electoral storms kept the existence of Neamuna a secret. but that the Ishtar Academy was basically in on it. That gives us some hints to what happens during the collapse as well. So I think that maybe Maya Sundaresh had something to do with this as well. It's thought we'll have this probably confirmed by the time we start reading the lore for around the raid. We start learning more about the root of the nightmares. That's the name of the raid. We start learning more about Nezarec himself this season and beyond. But that his sin probably was preventing the theft of the veil by Savathun.
Mhm.
Beyond that, we don't really know, but I would almost say it's more of a key than anything. Because notice when the triangle is drawn on the traveler, it's very similar to the colors that we see in the veil for whatever reason. And they have said that we are going to get some answers starting next season as to what the veil's nature is. That was confirmed in today's TWAB. That will be a quest that they will release for free to everyone who owns Lightfall, and it will stay in the game past the end of year 6, which is the year that we're in. We're currently in year 6.
Yep.
So, kind of a long-winded answer. Wanted to get that out of the way now, since we do deal with a lot of Veil talk in the exotic quests. But there's going to be a lot of really heavy story content coming out, not just here, but in lore books. So this is going to be a really, really heavy lore year. This is probably going to be the heaviest year we've ever had in terms of lore, frankly.
Yeah.
So
Good.
for all the questions that people had coming out of the campaign, start paying attention to those books that are put in seasonally and to your gear and things like that have lore tabs, because we're probably going to start getting those answers. Maybe not this season. Maybe we'll get like a little tag coming out of this season, but clearly Season of the Deep, we're going to have something that stands apart from the season. They said this is something that'll act as partially as an epilogue to Lightfall's campaign, that we'll start getting the answers.
Cool. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. That was really nice to hear today. I think that put a lot of that was because that was my main criticism coming out of last week. I think that for both of us, that was the main criticism we had of the campaign, was we needed a few more answers. We
Yeah.
needed more answers than more questions.
So
But
I actually reran the campaign this weekend with
Mhm,
Mitch
mhm.
because he hadn't run it yet, and I thought it was a good opportunity for me to kind of like redigest what the story was trying to tell,
I've been
and
doing the same for what it's worth. I've been playing it with our friend Ray.
yeah. So I actually I appreciate the story more than I think I did when I was rushing through it, right? And
Mhm.
I feel like even the epilogue mission and some of the other stuff that we've been doing, I feel like the story is definitely more of a setup than a full on story that they're telling, right? And I think that's where, I don't know if I was just too tired to comprehend it or what, but I feel like knowing that and kind of replaying it and comprehending it that way, it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Um, and plus, like the stuff that we've been playing this past week also is like it makes way more sense.
Yeah. Um like I said, I don't think that the campaign is like truly bad, and I think that we see some of the review scores that have come out for it. It's truly
Oh
laughable.
my gosh, yeah,
Um,
eye
I'm not
rollers.
I'm not going to touch on those, but you can go seek those out for yourself. I don't want to give any more attention to them than I have to, but I think that I think we were fair. I think we were fair on it. I'd probably still sit at my 7.5, like borderline 8ish, because I do think
Hmm.
that the missteps with the campaign are significant enough that I was left scratching my head. And like I said, if we're asking questions about the MacGuffin of the expansion, that's a problem. The Strand
Hmm.
missions still leave a lot to be desired. I'm still hating those when I go back through it. But I think the actual story missions, I think there's some substance there. I think the design of them is actually great.
Yeah,
Um, but let's keep talking about some of these exotics, man. The other one I really want to highlight is Winterbite, the heavy stasis glaive. This thing is an absolute monstrosity.
it's hilarious.
This
I mean,
is
it's just,
such a stupidly powerful weapon.
yeah, it's Yep, it's nuts. It's crazy.
You know, you can blow yourself up with that stasis ball that it shoots.
Oh, you can? No way.
I've done it a couple of times. But I was taking it into the giant public event that rotates between the three sections of Neomuna, and you can take that in there, and between that and Hunter Strand, you can just solo the entire third phase by yourself.
Mm,
It's absolutely bonkers. Get off a shot from the glaive and then just start wailing on it with your super, or with the glaive itself. You can just beat the shit out of the boss.
hmm.
Highly rewarding. 10 out of 10 recommend.
Wow,
This thing is wild. A1 Johnny and I took this into Gambit. We went and played Gambit, and we both took the Stasis Glaive, and we just took the boss down by ourselves. We just beat the shit out of the boss.
that's funny.
It was highly rewarding. There was a like invaders would come, and one of us would just turn around, shoot a projectile in that general direction, and his girlfriend and our randos would go after the person while they were frozen, while we were just beating the boss still.
Wow.
It's so funny. Immediately after we finished playing those three matches, there was a notice that came out from Bungie Help that was like, "We've disabled Winterbite in all PvP, Gambit, and raid/dungeons."
Oh my gosh. That's so funny. Like, I mean, I figured that was gonna happen, to be
Yeah,
honest. I kinda just, like, I don't know, I just assumed that because I
it's
mean, it's
fucking
so
wild. I
dude,
love that thing.
man, I was like, "Dude, this is gonna be the first thing that gets that gets, uh, canceled for the raid."
Believe it or not, Jotun was the first thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we still it they disabled Jotun the day that Lightfall came out, and it has not been re-enabled since. And I think you can still use it if you like go into patrol or in the campaign, but you can't take it into any competitive mode, Gambit. You can't take it into the end game content at all. I'm
Oh
very
my
curious to
god.
see what's going on. But real quick, the last exotic we got from this season or from this expansion. Final warning: it's the Strand sidearm. Haven't really had much of a chance to use this. This is similar to the tracking pistol from Apex.
Mm,
Um, I've heard pretty mixed things about this. I imagine this is probably pretty decent for an anti-barrier sidearm in uh, PVE, but I've heard pretty underwhelming things on the PvP side. The thing I keep seeing from weapon testers and from people that I really like that make PvP content is I want to like this gun so badly, but I can't, and
mm,
it's not exactly a ringing endorsement for me to go use this.
right.
Everything I've heard is basically go use round robin, which is the 120 hand cannon instead of this. Um, so I'm gonna put off final warning probably until next week to talk about, just because I have not gotten around to it. When I would have been experimenting with this is when Vex Caliber came out. So
Mm.
have you had a chance to play with which Titan exotic did you pick at the end of the campaign? I gotta ask that.
Oh, man, what did I pick at the end of the campaign? I don't remember.
Or did oh wait you
Wait,
they might not give it to you on regular. I think you only get it on legend.
yeah, I was gonna say, I don't remember
Oh,
picking
okay.
an exotic. I was
I
like,
got you. I got you.
I thought maybe I missed, like, a
No, no.
quest or something. No, that's definitely a legendary campaign thing.
So I went with the speed loader slacks. The hunter ones are speed loader slacks and the Cryothene's facade. I went with speed loader slacks, which gives an increase to reload speed, handling, and airborne effectiveness for you and nearby allies. While the buff is active, final blows and additional dodges increase the buff strength and refresh the timer. Maxes out at 5 stacks. I'm actually bringing these along for day one on the raid. I'm very excited for these.
Mm,
I really like using them, and I think they're going to be a nightmare in things like Iron Banner. Very excited for them. The other hunter exotic, I actually may need to go grind lost sectors after we record this. It's helmet day, and it's an easier lost sector.
mm,
Um, Cryothine's facade gives you some extra protection while you grapple and flinch resistance. So it's something you probably want to run in a stasis or at a God, not stasis, strand build in PvP. I have heard nothing but good things about the what you call it, the warlock gauntlets. I've heard some good things about
Yeah.
those, and about the legs especially, the swarmers. Heard great things about those. The Titan ones haven't heard a whole lot here. You have the one that increases your diamond lance capabilities, and then
Mm.
you have the Abiant leaps, the legs, which I'm actually pretty jazzed about. Um, while using your barricade, it adds extra armor and spawns 2 seeking projectiles to track targets aggressively and suspend them in midair. So probably going to be essential to any strand build for Titans going forward. At least for right now. Like that, we know that was it? Syntheseps are working with Excalibur really well. I know Johnny's running those. So some good shit out there from the
Awesome.
expansion, exotic wise.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hit up Johnny to figure out some builds and stuff to play around with because
Yeah,
there's some I want to play around with. I just haven't gotten there yet. You know.
man, that Titan Super is monstrous.
Yeah.
I love that thing. I
I
absolutely love it.
Yeah, I actually really like the Titan Super. I didn't think I was. I mean, I don't know. You
Yeah, I mean
remember?
we all made fun of it.
Yeah.
So
I was like, "Oh man, look, Striker Titan 3.0." But yeah, I think I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm having a lot of fun with the grapple, with the lunge. Like it's just man, chef's kiss. Let me tell you.
yeah, I'm very excited about all 3 of these supers. I'm a little surprised that the Hunter Super has not been completely disabled. If we
Uh,
get put into a little like arena with the final loss of
There's gonna be a few hunters in there.
Rise of Nightmares, then oh my god, dude, we have 3 hunters on our day 1 team. We're gonna be fucking feasting with with Strand.
Yeah,
Um, little
man.
curious to see how that's gonna go for everybody, especially if we could just stand in a well and wail on the boss.
Yeah, I gotta
Um,
say that the the stuff they put out for the raid already, like the images and stuff. Oh man, it looks so cool. I can't wait to run it.
we're gonna hold those thoughts. We're gonna get to that when we talk about the TWAB. Let's talk about the other significant thing that came out this week. We're gonna talk about the secret mission, and we'll hit on the seasonal storyline, which we haven't had a chance to really discuss yet. But Vex Caliber. Man, it's been a hot minute since we had a secret mission come to Destiny, and it did not leak ahead of time.
Right.
Uh, this was awesome.
This mission was fucking awesome.
Johnny and I were in agreement on this, that this is probably the best secret mission in Destiny 2's history.
I would say, yeah, it's definitely better than what was the one on IO, the
Whisper.
Whisper. Yeah, dude, this mission was cool. I love that they're using the Vex system in here as like level
They
design.
man they do. We this has been a talking point for us for the last year or so.
Hmm.
Is, man, I really want to see more of the Vex network, and we have now gotten a strike in here. We've got the 3 partitions that are in here. We had a whole chunk of the campaign that was going in and out of here. It's invaded.
I would love to see a dungeon in here.
It's
I
invaded
know,
new. This whole thing is literally like maybe like 1 or 2 changes away from being a dungeon. I'm just saying.
yeah,
This easily could have been a dungeon.
yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
I'm forced to wonder if, similar to Seraph Shield, we had the same thought about Seraph Shield. Were these 2 missions supposed to be dungeons originally, and they said, fuck it, we got to put these in the game as
Yeah,
exotic missions? Just look at the sheer amount of triumphs. You have to run this 3 separate times. There's 3 different versions of this mission that you're gonna do, which is exciting. There's 3 catalysts to get. There's 7 other things you can do with this. It's another one of those ones you can go to the crafting table and modify to your heart's content. And this is the coolest fucking weapon in the whole game. This thing looks amazing.
yeah, yeah.
I absolutely love this.
It's so big too. It's like obnoxiously big, and
It's
it makes it.
obnoxiously big. It's super anime. I love this. I love the perks on it with the the void over shields for you and your allies. I am over the moon about this thing. This is absolutely absurd. This combined with medieval champion is insane.
And and Josh, you know how big of a glaive person I am.
I do Vex main or glaive main Corey over here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Look, you don't have 100 resilience and 90 recovery Corey over here for nothing. Okay.
It's true. It's true. I have in fact heard that.
Yes. So
This thing is awesome, but the mission itself is so special. Um, you go in and you start doing it, and I'm so excited to get to talk about this because we didn't really get to touch on this last week. We like just started finding the evidence that Asher is kind of watching you during that first partition.
mhm.
Um, his hologram starts appearing in this mission. You have to solve puzzles. By the way, I did not know you could find the puzzle solutions. Andre and I were brute forcing that first area.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, dude! I brute forced the first two, and I couldn't do it past that. So
Uh,
then we figured out there was a pattern to it, and that was still a lot of fun. It got rather chaotic for the two of us. I thought it was all over once we finished fighting that fucking Hydra. I didn't realize there was a whole nother section to go.
mm,
But lo and behold, if this is a mission about Asher Mir, if you ever doubted this was about Asher, all that doubt should have gone away when you got to the boss arena and you realize it's the exact same layout as the Pyramidion.
yeah.
And it's fucking Brachion.
Yep.
I screeched when I realized it was Brachion.
It was cool.
You talk about payoffs.
Hmm.
But also, can we reflect how balls hard that boss fight was?
It was pretty. It was hard. I'm
How
gonna.
how quickly did you run out of heavy ammo when you realized that your heavy was not doing shit to him?
I mean, about 5 seconds. I mean, I'm gonna be honest here, man. It was rough.
We were changing supers on the fly. Andre and I were.
Yeah.
I was out there slinging tethers at him whenever I could. Andre used to strand the first time, and then he went to arc, and finally, I think we went to well for the last fight against him. But by then, I mean, I was just jumping across the chasm trying to get away from him constantly, turning around, shooting a rocket or two, continued running. Oh man, it was highly chaotic, but it was so rewarding when you finally kill him.
Yeah. It was nice. I gotta tell you.
The man, just the level design, the little bit of lore that we got out of it. It explicitly confirms Asher's survival after he brought the Pyramidion down on himself, which we'd always thought about.
Hmm.
There's that harpy that we found, that non-aggressive harpy you could find in Splicer if you did the one in the Elixni Quarter. And it was interpreted that it was saying assistant.
Hmm.
And there's also, lore evidence, and there's I think it's Quinn Ligari who tells you like there's just a message from the Vex network saying assistant over and over and over again. Asher's been watching us the whole time.
Yeah.
He's been watching over us, and this just adds more fuel to my fan fiction hopes that he leads an army of Vex to come to our defense in the final shape
He
or the
might.
seasons leading up to it. I truly hope he does. It's funny. I was saying this to, I think it was to Andre. I was like, man, if the seasons shake out the way I think they do, I think that we're going to go to Io right before the final shape. I would really love for the dungeon that season to be inside the Pyramidion.
Yeah. But
Um,
like a Vex, you like in the Pyramidium or like the Vex network Pyramidium?
I mean, so I think this is the Vex Network Pyramidion that we're in right now.
Yeah.
I'd like to know the like the secrets behind the Pyramidion, because the Vex are still the most mysterious thing, even though we're getting more Vex than we have in years right now.
Hmm.
They're still the most mysterious race. I still think that's probably something for post final shape. The The Vex will probably be the main mystery. Them and the Nine will probably be the main mysteries of the next saga,
Mm-hmm.
altogether.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd really like to understand a little bit more about them before the end, because I do think Final Shape is going to be the final stop for a lot of people who have played since Destiny 1,
Yeah.
after 10 years.
Yeah.
So there's a lot there. I think there's a lot of content you can possibly do. Really hoping that my theories are correct and we go back to Titan and Io, respectfully, in the second and fourth seasons. Um, and Nessus has never been taken out of the game. Nessus is still there for some reason. So I don't really care about going back to Mercury. And we're already back to Mars. We've gone back to Mars several times now. So
Yeah. It's true.
nobody cares about Mercury.
I could not go back to Mercury ever and be fine.
Unless you're going to give me, like, if you're going to send me, now I will say this, if you're going to send me back to Mercury and into the Infinite Forest in particular for a dungeon, I'd be down for that.
I mean, it would be cool if they could find a.
I could vibe with that, but I don't
It,
want to go back there as an explorable destination.
it would be cool if they found out a way to change the dungeon every time, kind of like the idea of what Leviathan was trying to do, right? Where they switched it up every week, but also like
So
make it
I'm gonna
dynamic
hit you with an
changes.
idea here. What if we get an evolving exotic mission like Vexcalibur or like Seraph Shield set
I
inside the Infinite Forest? You get a reason to run it for several weeks in a row,
I mean, that would be cool.
or like Presage.
I mean, that would be pretty cool.
That would be I think that would be like the most ideal way to do that, to bring back Mercury.
Mm-hmm.
Would be something like that. I would love to see those strikes come back, though. I think those strikes were a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Of course, I say that until I get the giant cabal that lands on top of me instead of on the Vexline. So,
Well, you're never gonna
um,
know unless you do it, Josh. You know.
that's for damn sure. Um, so when we talk about the seasonal content for this season, I want to acknowledge like what a strong start Defiance is off to, similar to Risen last year. It's only going to be a 5-week story, but I think when I say only, I'm actually like kind of breathing a sigh of relief, because between the raid, the exotic quests, mastering Strand, checking out some of the air stuff. I mean, there's new partitions each week. There's secrets to find on Niamuna. I'm like breathing a sigh of relief that I'm going to be wrapped up with this story by like mid-April, because man, I played so much Destiny in the last 10 days, Corey.
Yeah.
I played so fucking much Destiny.
I feel
I'm
like
waiting for raid weekend to be over so I can just like kick back for a couple days and relax.
I mean, I'm telling you, like, I really feel like I know this isn't true, but I feel like I played more Destiny in the last like week and a half than I did all of last season.
I've played a lot. I've played a
Yeah.
lot. I know it's not a lot compared to some people. I'm almost level 50 in my season pass. Just from the sheer amount of grinding out that I've done, trying to get ready for this raid. But this seasonal story, man. So we're back to the farm.
Mm-hmm.
Let's set the scene, because we didn't really get a chance to talk about it last week. You're back to the farm. You're leading efforts on Earth with Mara. Mara's leading them, and among the characters that we have this season, Amanda Holiday, Crow, Mithrax, and good old Devrim. Shout out
Yeah.
to Devrim coming
Yeah.
back after 6 years away.
Yep.
Very exciting. We do get explicit confirmation. He talks about Mark, his partner,
Yeah.
when we go into that first battleground. I love the layout of these two battlegrounds we've gotten so far. I think these are a lot of fun. They managed to make them feel different from other battlegrounds. But I implore Bungie, can we come up with a name other than battlegrounds? Because not that I don't think that battlegrounds are cool, but I'll be honest, I heard the name Battlegrounds just in the promotional stuff, and I kind of groaned and rolled my eyes a little, because it was
Yeah.
the third time in 12 months we were getting more Battlegrounds.
Yeah.
I like these, and I think that it's with them putting them into the Nightfall playlist now. These essentially are the strikes, and that's okay, because strikes are supposed to be sanctioned Vanguard ops.
Mm-hmm.
Um, And I think this week's in particular, the Cosmodrome one, is pretty unique. The boss teleports you a couple of times outside of the boss arena, and you have to like fight your way back to it.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of. I think that's a lot of fun, and I think that's really unique. Or teleported back into the Ascendant Plane, I guess I should say. A lot of fun. Curious to see what the third one is like. If we get the third one next week, or if we got to wait a couple of weeks. But it feels like we're coming to a head for a couple of stories. Amanda has red death flags all around her,
Mm-hmm.
particularly because there is a lore book this season, a Tex Machina lore book that talks about her family's history and about the history of the chaperone. Little scared there. The last time we got a 4-page lore book that was really in depth about somebody's history, we ended up making Nesquik. So
Yeah.
little worried for what that means for everybody's favorite purveyor of green sparrows. But
Green sparrows.
dude, I'm just saying, like there ain't been a point to her character in years.
I know, it's just funny when you said that. It's just.
But we kind of knew this was not that. I'm saying that she's gonna die, but like I personally think that she's ripe for it after the fake out though, because it feels like she died in that opening cutscene, and then we get confirmation. Nah, she actually crashed and got herself captured. I don't know, like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know if she'll die or not, but it
Yeah.
just doesn't seem like. I don't know. See, I don't know. I
It
don't know.
feels like if anybody of the main cast of this season were to die, it would likely be her.
But I don't think she's main cast.
She's not, but she is of this season.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
that's what I'm getting at. Like of the main cast of this season, I feel like she's got the most death flags on her, and
Yeah.
also like she's a character that's been around since Destiny 1. She's had an increasing role in the background of several seasons and expansions at this point. I kind of feel like it. Listen, either you got to kill her or you got to let her and Crow hook up. One of the two. There's no in between.
Why not both?
My man is down. My man's down bad. Okay. He's down bad right now. He got himself shot by the chaperone, okay?
He did. Ow. Right in the heart.
Dude, listen, someone needs to take Crow out. I don't know what you got to do, but the Guardian and I don't know, Spider got to take him to like some seedy place in the city to relieve some tension and sadness. I don't
Right.
know.
Right.
I just God, Glint, what are you doing? What are you doing, my man? What are
Right.
you doing with Crow? You ain't doing shit for him right now.
Yeah. What are you doing?
But I am curious to see ultimately where this season goes because it feels like this is kind of Red War 2.0 in a lot of ways, which I think is the point. That hey, we're starting out on our home turf and we're going to start slow. The Witness disappeared into the fucking Traveler. We're going to start taking shit back.
Yeah.
So if this is kind of like the setup and the kickoff for the rest of the year, similar to how Risen was, then I'm excited to see how we get there.
Yeah.
And also see like which of our allies that fell during the darkness wave are still alive in some regard. If Slowness survived for 3 years on Titan, I will be highly impressed.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out, I guess.
I mean, yeah, because there's explicit lore on Winterbite that says enemy of the Witness detected on Titan. Preserve and rescue or something along those lines. I got to look at the exact lore tab and see what the exact wording is, but that would hint that we're going back to Titan. And
Yeah, but do you think that would be for like? Do you think we would be going back there for like a season, or do you think we'd be
I
going
think
back
we're
there for
going
like
back
a?
there. I think we're going back for a fucking season.
See,
I think we're going back for a season. All the rules are out the window now.
I guess, but I mean, from that lore piece, I would almost assume it was like some sort of dungeon or solo.
I would say you're guaranteed to get the dungeon.
Yeah.
I'd say you're guaranteed to get the dungeon there next season, but
Mhm.
all I'm saying is we all know about the Leviathan swimming around on Titan. I
Mhm.
think that's what we're recruiting.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Listen, if I don't see Shax riding the Leviathan into battle, we have failed as a society. Yeah, but I think this season it's in such stark contrast to the almost jokey nature of Lightfall at times, because you don't have somebody who's cracking a lot of jokes like
Right.
Nimbus.
Yeah.
You have Crow, who's been lighthearted in the past, but is, and Amanda, who typically jokes, but are both very somber and serious. Even Devrim, like, it's like, oh shit, like, you expect Mithrax and Mara to be pretty serious, but everyone is like, no, we're pretty united. There's some serious shit going down. We got to save the people. And I like that they've kept it confined to Earth, that it's going to be EDZ, it's Cosmodrome, and we know, if you look at any of the triumphs, that Orbital Prison is the last one that we're going to liberate in a
Mhm.
battleground. Um, and it's interesting because I think that part of the parallels we can draw here, we talked about how a lot of Lightfall kind of felt like a Halo 2 moment with the
Yeah.
ending.
Mhm.
That's kind of what I get from this also. This kind of feels like, or we talked about how like a Lightfall on Neptune kind of feels like ODST in a way, but the ending really screams Halo 2.
Yeah.
That's kind of the vibe I get from here too, is like, this is almost like we're playing the side stories that we saw in like the Halo graphic novel, for example, that like happened like the fall of not the fall of New Mombasa, the fall of Cleveland in it, for example, when the Covenant are searching for an artifact.
Mhm.
That's very much how I feel about this, is that like the Witnesses forces are searching for something that we don't know about yet.
Yeah.
And Mara's doing this huge ritual to give us all this power, and like, she's knighted everyone who is fighting the Witness as a Queen's Guard, which I think is really fucking cool, like
Yeah.
lore wise. That like everyone from us to Mithrax to Keitel to Devrim have all been knighted as Queen's Guard,
Mhm.
irregardless, like as a united army essentially.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite little details of, I don't know if it's going to stay there throughout the entire expansion, but at least of this season, is when you're in the tower and you look out above the city and you see the United Fleet out there, the Awoken, the Cabal, the Elixni. There's probably a few human ships out there, but also that there's soldiers for each of the armies stationed in the tower.
Mhm.
Specifically, there's Cabal soldiers guarding Zavala.
I know, and they're like in the weirdest space. There's one that's standing right in front of the gunsmith, and he just takes up like half the hallway.
Dude, I fucking love it. You can like squeeze past him on the right and be like, "Hey, sorry, buddy, got to get to my vault. Can you
Yeah.
move?"
Yeah. Excuse me, you got
Um,
to pick up my gunsmith bounties.
yeah, there's like Awoken guards, which I did. That's where I first noticed them. There's Awoken guards holding some of the Season of the Lost weapons,
Mhm.
right there by the elevator that goes down to Zavala's office.
Yeah.
There's all sorts that the Elixni are no longer looking at the Coke machine, wondering why it's not working. They're gearing up too. Um, very, very happy for the development that we've had, where like it does become, hey, we've all lost our homes, and
Mhm.
if we don't take a stand now, we're gonna lose what's left of this like kind of last bastion of civilization.
Right.
The Elixni lose their home of Reese to the Whirlwind. The Traveler fled from them, and we have explicit confirmation. This is the only time that we know of the Traveler actually fled or attempted to flee, because it thought fleeing would spare the Elixni civilization, and it didn't, because the Witness doesn't give a fuck, or
Right.
whatever disciple was there did not give a fuck.
Nope.
And for some reason, catastrophe was completely averted on Earth. But we look at the timeline, and it's funny. I went and did some looking into this because I wanted to know exactly when things happened. We know Callus got deposed from Torabottle and from the Cabal Empire years and years before the events of Destiny 2. And Keitel notes this in the campaign. I thought that exiling him on, the Leviathan was a fitting punishment, doomed to roam the cosmos, and instead he came face to face with the Witness, with the Pyramid Fleet. He caught a glimpse into what was coming, and it ends up in the Sol system above Nessus. The fall of Torabottle is implied in the lore to happen roughly around the time of the Red War.
Mhm.
Um, and Keitel kind of hates Gaul at that point because Gaul wasn't there to help lead the forces. And there was a cabal who was, basically the captain of Keitel's forces who turned on her, who joined Xivu Arath's Wrathborn, essentially, and was used by Xivu Arath. And when Keitel had to kill her, that's what started the ritual that ultimately destroyed Tora Bottle. The war moons appeared in the atmosphere. Basically, what Xivu Arath wanted to do to Earth during Season of the Seraph.
Mhm.
And we kind of avoid that. So, Kaido's forces, what's here is what's left of the Cabal at this point. It kind of gives you this sense of finality. Like, at the same time, I think we can kind of start marking down characters that we think are probably safe. Hilariously, I think Kaido is actually one of those.
Mhm.
The fact that she didn't die in the Lightfall campaign
Yeah,
to
that's where she would have.
Callus,
Yeah.
I think that's where it would have happened, even if that's generic as hell. I think that kind of indicates, nah, she's making it out of here.
Yeah.
Unless she gives her life to protect Zavala and Saladin, she's living through this.
No, I think one of them's gonna give their life to protect her and the Cabal, and
Probably Saladin.
she's gonna rule the
It'll be
new Cabal.
Saladin.
Yeah.
It'll be Saladin. If I don't get Saladin crashing in a Cabal ball at some point, we've been failed. We've just completely been failed.
I want him coming in, crashing in with like the big armor set, like with the big kind of like
Oh, I want
Roman
him in a
helmet
Colossus
style.
set of
Yeah.
armor.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I want. That's what I
Oh
want.
my god, dude! Just swinging that. I want him swinging the fucking hammer of proving around.
Yeah. Why not?
Do permanent big hammer. Bring it on.
Yeah.
But I think the season seems really off to a really good start. Even after 10 days, I feel like we could say that because it's laying the foundation for what's coming.
Hmm.
You get kind of a sense of the scope of the fight. That
Yeah.
it's not just happening out on Niamuna or up in our atmosphere. Like, it's happening right fucking here on Earth. I've seen some complaints like, oh, we should be able to see the pyramids that are on Earth out there in the patrol zones. Like, why? They're gonna be removed in a year. You do understand that, right? And you can tell who pays attention to what's being said in the missions and who doesn't by we should be able to go and explore them. Why can't we explore them? Because there's a lore reason why you can't. There's an actual in-game reason why you can't drive out to go explore them. And if they just put them there for show, y'all would complain that you can't go out there. Like, there
Right.
are reasons why you can't do these things.
Right.
Oh my god, it's so guys,
It's
we can
dumb.
tell who's reading the lore and who's not.
Yeah.
And who's paying attention to the dialogue in the missions.
Right.
Um any other thoughts on the beginning of the storyline? And we've had some interesting audio messages in the or not in the helm. God, that's going to take some getting used to in the farm already.
I know. The farm
Irvi
is.
is living at the farm now. I'm very
Yeah.
excited about that.
Yeah. That's the farm, man. What a twist.
Is Spider going to show up there running like a Dollar General or something down in Mithrax's old hidey hole?
I wonder. I want. So you know what would be actually really cool is that building on the side, like as you progress, like more things get added to the building,
Oh, I would
and
love
like
it.
that would be like your base, your Earth base of operations would be the farm now instead. Like and actually like build it up the way we build up the Elixir quarter almost,
Oh yeah,
and
that could be
like
a lot of fun.
you like each season has like a different vendor in there. Like okay, here's Spider, here's I don't know, Devrim can hang out there now, I guess, and finally put something together in there. And then when the final shape comes around, it would harken back to Destiny 2 vanilla campaign of like, hey, remember when we all met here and took out the Cabal during the Red War? Well, we're doing it again, but we're taking out the Witness.
I would love for them to give what's his face or what's her face.
Hawthorne?
I would love for Hawthorne to get some sort of role in this season, even if it was just for like a battleground.
What
Because
if
listen, if there was ever a time to put Hawthorne back in the game, it's here, guys. I'm sorry.
Hawthorne snipes the Witness and kills him?
I would be so mad. I think I would just quit. I'd quit.
um, but yeah, I mean, I think the farm was an interesting twist. I like where the story's going. I have less concerns. I'm still concerned of how they're going to wrap all these things up. And like
Hmm.
I mean, I know they're going to leave some threads open for what happens after the final shape. I'm not that stupid, but like it just feels like there's a lot going on, you know?
There's a lot going on, but I'll be honest, like I'm still a little concerned, I think, for the actual Final Shape expansion.
Yeah.
But the seasonal storytelling, I'm not as worried about. Like, even Plunder looks like it's about to pay off
Yeah.
in terms of the Nezarec stuff. So,
Uh-huh.
and the other three seasons, I think, have already paid. I think Risen, Haunted, and Seraph have definitely paid off already.
Yeah.
Very curious to see where we go for these remaining seasons and for the remainder of this season. I want to see what happens because I think it's pretty inarguable that we'd be having a much easier time if Rasputin hadn't had to blow himself up.
Mhm.
So
It's true.
the stage is for me being set that there's certain storylines we're going to have to deal with going into the final shape, and then there's things that are going to have to be left for afterwards.
Hmm.
Um, I will say that of the baddies that are left that we know about, the Witness, Zivu Arath, and Aramis, really, I hope that none of them make it out of Final Shape's actual expansion.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't think Aramis is like
I mean, I don't think Aramis is actually evil, so I think Aramis is gonna turn.
yeah, especially cuz I feel like she feels like she got screwed over by the witness now.
I mean, she hasn't really joined her. She was kind of like forced to. She's not actually a disciple or anything. She doesn't actually want to. She sees it as the only way to preserve what might be left of their species. She sees what Mithrax is doing as absolute suicide, but I would not be shocked to see her come and join our little coalition. For me, one of the bigger mysteries remaining is, and I'm a little surprised we're not tugging on this thread already, is Fickrel. Fickrel's out there kind of fucking around. He
Yeah.
hasn't been seen in a while, but he's still alive out there. He's immortal,
Yeah.
and he's probably going to have to be dealt with before final shape? Question mark. I
Yeah.
could see him being something that's saved for afterwards because he's explicitly not a part of the witnesses scorn.
Yeah.
I could see him being saved for afterwards. I would hope that at some point we solve the Dreaming City curse. If that is really saved for after Final Shape, I'm going to be a little bummed because we've been looking
Yeah.
forward to breaking that since fucking Shadowkeep.
I mean,
We've
do
been
we think
we
do we
back in
think
the early days. We thought that Season of Dawn when we saw that scribbled on Luke Smith's whiteboard, and it was like change the timeline. We were like, oh shit, we're finally going to solve the Dreaming City curse.
yeah.
Nope, still waiting 4 years later.
Do you think the witness has anything to do with that curse?
No,
Like
not
him
even a
just
little bit.
existing?
Nope. I mean, we explicitly know that it was Savathun who did it.
Right, but I mean,
I don't think no. Her murder battery is still in place. Just Zivu. I assume that Zivu Arath has just taken over the tribute for it.
yeah, that's fair.
And then I mean, the Taken being there still is a result of the Witness because he controls the Taken now. So it's no longer, you know, Savathun, and I believe we've gotten confirmation that Zivu Arath cannot control the Taken.
Yeah.
So just so much shit going on there. There's a lot of threads that we're gonna start wrapping up, and I think if you can wrap up characters like some side characters like Amanda, Devrim, and stuff like I expect Mithrax and Crow to have increasing responsibilities throughout the seasons, and you're not going to get through Final Shape without Marasov playing a huge part.
Right.
I would expect that the characters that we haven't seen, not necessarily seen in a little bit, but that we've seen kind of big in seasons over the past, two expansions, from Beyond Light onwards. I'd expect for Mara and Eris to kind of take center stage during Final Shape. Elsie probably has a role to play there too, considering the nature of her time jumping.
Hmm.
I'd be very surprised if Elsie did not have a role to play in the downfall of the Witness. But I
Yeah.
swear to God, if it ends with me having to have another conversation with her in the hangar, we're gonna throw hands. Um, there's just I think there's a lot of questions to be answered, and that's fine. we fuck it. Let's just transition into the Schwab there because that's where the conversation is going to lead us anyways.
The
Um,
twab.
the Schwab. I want to skip ahead in the Schwab a little bit. We're gonna skip past all the raid goodies to next season. We're gonna talk about next season real fast. So the quest. There will be a new quest. As we mentioned in last week's Schwab, a new year of storytelling kicked off with Lightfall and will continue through our seasons between now and the final shape. While we're just a week into Season of Defiance and we don't always share future narrative details this far in advance, we feel it's important to give everyone a preview of a particular quest we're bringing to Neomuna in Season of the Deep, as well as the rewards it will provide. Throughout this quest, players will explore the city to learn about the nature of the Veil through Osiris's research and newly uncovered Ishtar Collective data. This brief pursuit will be available to all Lightfall owners and will take place separately from the events of Season of the Deep. As a reward for completing the final step, players will gain access to 3 new strand aspects, one per class, to add more depth and creativity to their builds. So let's pause there for a second. This is pretty big for them to come out and say, "Hey, this is part of the storytelling we're going to do going forward," because they've never shared something about the next season this far in advance. We noted a few weeks ago when they told us the name of Season of the Deep before Lightfall even came out that this was kind of unprecedented.
Why are they doing this? I mean, like, not that I'm complaining. I just
So my take on it is there's been enough people complaining that we don't get roadmaps anymore of where Destiny is going, and it very much became a we're not going to reveal the season until the day that it's in your hands, and that works sometimes, but we don't need to do it all the time. And
yeah,
I'm pretty firmly agreeing, but I think this also may be them acknowledging that they knew that uh, the expansion story may not be received that well initially right off the bat, and so they better start just telling us things in advance now to ease that a little bit.
right.
And I think them telling us this is very much in response to the campaign.
Yeah,
This does not feel like something we would have been told about for another probably like 4 to 6 weeks.
yeah,
I still think we would have found out about it before Season of the Deep, particularly when it comes to build crafting, but I'm not at all surprised that they're telling us now.
yeah.
Um, the other thing, so the three strand aspects are going to be called Fletchet Storm for the Titans, Threaded Spectre for Hunters, and Wanderer for Warlocks. We'll have more details to share on these as we get closer to Season of the Deep. Note that these new aspects are planned to be earned by completing the upcoming quest rather than requiring additional uh, meditations to unlock. The quest will also remain available in Neomuna in perpetuity for all Lightfall owners, so you won't miss out on the chance to pick it up after year 6 comes to a close. That's the biggest thing for me, is that this is a quest that's going to stick around
Yeah.
and might be the beginning of an acknowledgement of, one, this is going to be important to understand what's going on in Lightfall, but two, anybody who joins in Season of the Deep or beyond and plays Lightfall will be able to play this right after the campaign.
Yeah.
Um, which I think this combined with the exotic quest probably will help kind of, I don't integrate the idea of the veil more. I can already see the complaints now, but
Hmm.
it, like we said in our review, it feels very much like this was 65% of an expansion in terms of story, and that the rest of that's probably coming in final shape.
Right. Which they kind of admitted when they said they were splitting, like
Yeah.
they added the final shape because they felt like they had more story to tell. But it almost feels like maybe I don't want to say they didn't, but like it kind of, just because we don't know what the final shape is yet, but like this definitely, like you said, it definitely felt like half a campaign.
Yeah, I think the final shape will feel more like a whole campaign. I think it's more of they realized, oh shit, we have so many storylines, we actually need those 4 extra seasons to wrap this up.
Yeah.
I think that's more of what the realization is that we need those 4 seasons and those dungeons to wrap things up.
Hmm.
That would be my personal guess. I don't know if I'm off base on that, and I mean, obviously, this is going to dominate speculation for another 11 months. Um, we'll be able to say, like, for sure after playing Final Shape, like, hey, did we really need those 4 seasons or not? And I mean, if they're going to be on the level of quality of like Defiance or Seraph, or even like the storytelling level of Haunted, then I'm going to go, yeah, like, we
Hmm.
need this shit.
Yeah.
Um, I think to some of the great seasons that we've had, look at how Arrivals changed the entire game.
Right.
Look at the events of Chosen and Splicer and what they meant long term for the narrative. Not only that, but they were like those are three of our best seasons.
Yeah.
Seraph joins those ranks, I believe. I think personally. And I don't know if we're going to count Defiance among those. I doubt that we will, but it's definitely in that next tier with like
Yeah.
Risen and with Dawn and things like that. And I think that's also important. Um, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of moving pieces, and I'm glad that they're sharing this information with us now to kind of like calm the nerves of a lot of those of us who might be a little on edge story wise.
Hmm.
I haven't seen any negative reactions to this so far. I think this has been pretty well received. If anything, I think the reaction might be like, well, why are we getting it then and not now?
Yeah.
And I mean, the answer is go play the fucking raids, you nerds.
Nerds.
Yeah, there's plenty of story stuff to go do on Neomuna right now. Go do it. Go do your partitions. Go do your Vexcalibur missions. Do your seasonal stuff. Like this can wait. If they were to give us a story mission each season that further builds on unraveling the mystery behind the veil, and I mean, if this is how you're going to tell us about the witnesses past, cool. I'd rather it be something like this and not taken out, because like I said, that was my major concern. But if you're going to give us these epilogue style missions and that's how we find out the mystery behind the veil and the witness, I would be very okay with that. As long as it's available in perpetuity. It cannot go away like seasonal content.
Yeah.
Seasonal content should be stuff that builds on what you did for the first two expansions of a year. They should build on what you did in the expansion. The next two should be leading into your expansion.
Yeah.
And they've done a
I
good
agree.
balance of that so far, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%.
Since Beyond Light, I think that's one of the things. Like, if we're gonna criticize where they do things wrong, we got to recognize this and epilogue missions they've done really good on the last several years.
Yeah.
In terms of building on and being like a coda to that expansion. I think back to Ace of Spades and Xenophage and how those enhance the stories of the main characters of those expansions of Cade and Eris, respectfully. Beyond Light was a little bit of a fumble in that realm, but then I think about like the extra missions we got in Witch Queen, where we were going back in and exploring the pyramid, for example. And you were still getting lines from Rolk. You were getting the Rolk lore by doing that or by doing the raid. You were getting the exotic glaive quest. So you were getting a whole other storyline involving Imaru and trying to figure out a way to resurrect Savathun. You got the Parasite quest from Mara, which
I forgot about the Parasite quest.
Yeah, the Parasite quest is a fucking banger. And then of course this expansion we get Nimbus and Rohan's quest. And now we're getting stuff involving Asher, and we're getting hints to stuff on Titan, and it's just like, okay, like I can vibe with this. I can vibe with this. It's just this is the stuff we have to recognize what we're doing right when we criticize what's being done wrong.
Right.
As an additional reward, Lightfall owners will also get their hands on a new legendary weapon upon completing the quest. Close-up look at the concept art. This looks like the hand cannon that the hunter is wielding in the key art for Lightfall. We've been wondering where the hand cannon disappeared to. This appears to be the hand cannon.
Yes. It looks cool. I love the design.
I love the design, even though I don't love hand cannons, but I really, really, really like the kind of graffitied look to this.
Yeah, it looks super
Big
cool.
fan. Corey, let's talk about some other stuff here.
Let's do it.
Oh, we've got other stuff. By the time you're listening to this, the raid will be less than 12 hours away, most likely.
And Josh will be banging his head against his phone, typing Twitter, raid.
Yes, basically. For those of you who do not know, we are having a team from the clan and from the Discord server going in and doing this day one. Is myself, our guest hosts from the past, Joe Asus and T-Fox Warrior. And then we are being joined by our Crucible Guru, our Battle Master, the Dealer. We're being joined by his buddy Rex, who is another awesome Crucible player and PvE player. And rounding out the team is Nadiki, who is also very, very in on GMs, on raiding. all around really, really good player. The 6 of us are going in. I believe we are doing 3 hunters, 2 warlocks, and a titan is
Mm.
what we settled on for characters. Going to be very, very interesting. Very, very curious to see the teaser image we got of the raid that I saw the raid today with the pyramid ship that we're going to be going into. The
What's like the
outside of
big
it,
hole blasted in the side of it?
yeah, we're going. So we're going into the witnesses pyramid
Right.
that the traveler shot. But you look at the impact where the traveler shot it. It looks very similar to the Tree of Silver Wings from Io.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like all the garden imagery that we get also. Very curious to see what the inside of this thing looks like. The teaser images and the trailer we got for the world's first race look awesome. This looks insane. This looks absolutely bonkers and unlike anything that we've seen. And for the first time, Bungie is partnering with Twitch for the raid race. Really surprised this has never happened in almost 9 years of Destiny.
Yeah, I wonder why they chose now to do that.
So, I mean, we've had the Twitch Prime rewards for a hot minute, but Twitch Rivals is doing this. There are 2 emblems that you can get from watching through Twitch Rivals. There is one that you have to watch the Twitch Rival stream or a participating partner or affiliate for at least 2 hours between 8:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that means I will have it running on a separate window, minimized, just so I get my wonderful emblem. Really looking forward to that. There is a whole list of streamers that you can go look at. Among them, Glad, Astacross, Grenadier Jake, Datto, Sweatsickle, Frostbolt, uh, Ekugon. There are 816 affiliated streamers doing this. So good luck. Go find someone that you like, support them. I don't know yet if we are streaming this. If we are, I'll likely tweet out a link or we'll at least post it in the Discord. If we do, it'll be over on Dealer's Twitch channel. So be looking out for that. And then there is a second Twitch drop, and this is the cooler emblem to me. I think this emblem looks awesome. If you watch anybody stream Destiny 2 for 2 hours during the first 48 hours of the raid, so anytime during contest mode.
It's a cool emblem.
That's a very cool emblem. I'm very down. I don't dislike the first one, but I love that second one.
Mm-hmm.
Which is called the first one is called Dim Italics. This one is called Particle Acceleration. Very down for that. As always, contest mode is enabled. It is enabled for 48 hours, so it will not lift until Sunday at daily reset. 1780 power to be at the cap for all encounters. Contest mode will cap all players at 20 power below each encounter of the raid for the first full 48 hours of the race. Artifact power will be enabled, but only provides benefit to players up to the cap of 1780. Of course, first fire team to complete the raid, loot the final chest, return to orbit, will be crowned the winner of world's first race once the team reviews their clear. And of course, everybody on that winning team gets world's first belts. I love that they do these. These are awesome.
Yeah, they're super cool.
Another note, because we ran into this problem last year with the servers. To give our servers space to breathe, there will be no bounty or weapon crafting progress for combatant kills below boss tier within the raid while contest mode is enabled. That is kind of a drastic step being taken, but after we had people getting booted last year, it kind of had to happen.
Yeah. No,
as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
It's not great. It is what it is. Unfortunately, I'm trying to find one other link that I did not see. I guess it's down below. There's a handful. Okay, so here's items disabled for contest mode and world first. Weapons include Grand Overture exotic machine gun, the Fighting Lion exotic grenade launcher, the Winterbite exotic glaive, the Hierarchy of Needs exotic bow, and the Jotun exotic fusion rifle. And armor and mods, Titan ramparts, Titan exotic gauntlets, Thread of Ascent strand fragment will be disabled across the entire game during this, by the way. and the Empowered Finish armor mod. Those will all be disabled for World's First in Contest mode. Traits and functionality on the following items will be nullified within the raid, with additional negative impacts to power levels if equipped. So, good luck, everybody.
Yeah. Good luck. Have
Good
fun.
luck. This is gonna, yeah. Good luck. Have fun. This is gonna be fucking wild. We talked about it before we started recording. This raid jacket is fucking dope.
Yeah. It's
I
super
love
cool.
that. I love this raid jacket. I'm a very big fan. The inside very clearly looks like the key art for all of this, and with a spire kind of in the middle. Players who complete the raid before March 21st will have access to purchase the exclusive Root of Nightmares raid jacket from the Bungie store. The corresponding raid pin and Dream Warrior title pin will be able throughout season of Defiance. As with all previous raid-related Bungie rewards, this year's jacket represents long-standing tradition, allowing players to celebrate their in-game accomplishments outside the game. Why did I not get one of these for King's Fall? I'm still very upset about this.
Yeah.
I would have bought the
Well,
King's Fall one. I'm very upset.
Josh, they knew.
They fucking knew. They fucking knew.
They knew. Okay, they
They
just
knew.
knew.
If they do one for Wrath of the Machine, I might actually lose it. I think this
Or
looks
they
awesome.
won't do one for Wrath of the Machine.
I'd be totally okay if they don't do one for Wrath of the Machine. I think this looks really cool. The raid pin that you can get clearly has Nezrak Sin in the middle. Very down for that. I like it. I like the design of the. I like all the aesthetic around this. Big fan. We all know how much I like a good collectible.
You do like a good collectible.
My wallet does not, but I do. Very big. Also,
your wallet doesn't mind. Your girlfriend questions your.
I mean, she did tell me to buy the Gallarhorn, so this is all on her.
I mean, that's fair.
Side note, it's called Root of Nightmares. Are we just calling this Ron for short?
I mean, that's what.
Hey guys, let's go run
it.
Ron tonight.
That's that's what the TWAB is calling it. So,
all right, we're calling it Ron. That's it. Can't wait to beat the shit out of Ron this week. It's gonna be great. Ron fucked up.
I hope there's a boss in there named.
If your
Ron.
name is Ron and you listen to this show, I'm very sorry.
I hope one of the bosses' names is Ron.
No, I need it to be like a very hard to kill tormentor, kind of like Randall the Vandal.
Yeah.
Except please don't make it actually a tormentor because that would be terrifying. Iron Banner date change. Iron Banner was supposed to be next week, and well, it's not happening. You know that annoying bug we've had since the launch of Lightfall, where after playing enough Crucible, Strikes, or Gambit, or anything with a commendation screen, all the other Guardians and sometimes you disappear? The fix is scheduled to go live on March 16th, 2 days after the start of Iron Banner. We don't want to have our premier Iron Banner start off with 2 days of Invisible Guardians or everyone playing Iron Banner restarting Destiny 2 every hour. So we're making the tough decision to delay Iron Banner a week. This means a couple things. Trials fans, we are moving Trials of Osiris up to next weekend instead, since the issue should be fixed before Friday morning. More info on next week's TWAB, where you can expect a double dose of Crucible event goodness. There will only be a 1 week break, however, between the first and second Iron Banner. So the first Iron Banner will end on March 28th, and the second one will start on April the 4th. That's really quick.
Yeah.
That's really, really quick. And more info about Trials next week.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't blame them for moving this on raid week, right?
No,
I mean,
you had to move this. You can't drop Iron Banner with that invisible bug. You can't do it.
Yeah,
it's already going to be bad enough if somebody gets hit by it during the raid because you can't see your reticle or anything. It makes it really fucking hard to aim.
Yeah.
So I'm not particularly looking forward to this.
I wonder if they will. They should have moved that second one back a week as well, unless it conflicts with some sort of like what event is usually going on then. Guardian Games? No, that's too soon, right?
Guardian Games is going to be at the end of the season. I think that's the thing is they're trying to get all the Iron Banners in before then, and they want to give enough time. I think they want to give enough time to Trials also.
Yeah.
So because it's going to go Trials, Iron Banner, Trials, Iron Banner. I think they'd rather just get 2 banners out of the way quickly so they can do like a whole month of Trials.
Yeah.
Because as it stands, we're not going to get a whole lot of Trials this season. So,
there was a new guide put out last week. There's a new player guide that Liana helped write up over there at Bungie. If you are a newer returning player who has not played in a hot minute, highly encourage you go check that out. Um, I think some things are good in it. Some things could obviously be better expanded upon. But as far as a new player guide goes, it's very, very cool that Bungie has an actual resource like this, and you don't have to like go digging around in game or on forums for it. It's right there on the website.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what else?
It was cool.
Beginning March 8th in the United States, Destiny 2's daily and weekly reset time will update to 10 a.m. Pacific time. So it'll be moving back to 12 p.m. for those of us in Central Time, and to 1 p.m. for those on the East Coast.
Oh yeah, because daylight savings time is
Daylight
happening.
savings time.
God, man, can we just get rid of that at this point?
Oh,
Do we
God,
need it?
dude, I hope.
You know, like no offense, but
No, all offense.
We don't
All
need it.
offense.
We don't need it. Just throwing
We
it
do
out
not
there.
need it. There's
Everybody.
some really cool art this week at the end of the Schwab. I think there's some really cool art.
Yeah,
I haven't
there
watched
was
the
some.
videos yet. I really like the one with the clan meeting on top of a skyscraper and the Thrilladome. I thought I saw the Thrilladome one on Twitter the other day. I really would love a print of that.
Yeah, it's cool.
I think that's a really cool piece. That's going to do it for our Schwab this week, Corey.
That's it for the TWAB, everybody.
That
Good
is
job.
it for the Schwab. Yeah, good game, everyone.
GG's all around.
GG's.
People still say GG's, or is that just like like an old thing?
I say it because I'm old.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Let's hit some Corey. Let's hit a couple questions. We
have
a few questions. We have about three questions this week. Not a whole lot, but we're gonna fly through these. Saint 14 writes in and asks, at the end of the campaign, when our ghost was being used by the witness, we apparently lost. That being said, do you think our light will be completely lost in the future, making us solely rely on darkness subclasses, or is there something we obtain to keep our light / ghosts? Kind of similar to the Red War when we found light in ourselves.
I think there's going to be some sort of, you find the light within to, or something, right? I mean, that's my
Stan
guess.
Bush is going to come in with the touch.
Oh God, you got the touch.
You got the power. Yeah, no, that's totally going to happen. I'll tell you one reason why this isn't going to happen. DLCs.
Yeah.
Paid DLC.
Yep.
Because Stasis and Strand are locked behind Beyond Light and Lightfall.
Yeah.
That's why. Also, like, I'm personally not a huge fan of us retreading ground that we already did in the Red War. I think with the emphasis on build crafting, that would fuck with you way too much.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
To lose the light, I can't even begin to imagine what that would look like. So I think those are probably the two reasons: one, licensing, and two, the whole loadout system that they've really been pushing. Which,
yeah,
an absolutely stellar addition to the game, by the way, is saved loadouts. Really thrilled about that.
I do wonder how they're gonna. Solve that now, right? I mean,
solve what?
I just like the light stuff. I was thinking about that the other day. Like the Traveler's dead, but like, what's happening?
And I mean, again, I think that's something that we're going to get unveiled throughout the year.
Yeah, that's why I haven't really brought it up.
Osiris's notes and whatnot.
Yeah.
But no, to answer your question, Saint, I do not think that that the light will be completely lost. I think that even if the Traveler is gone, it is going to be one of those like the light lives on within you bullshit things. Because
maybe Eris gives you her little green ball.
Oh my God, I do not want Eris's little hive ball. I don't want
her third eye.
And Ronnie goes, to piggyback off what Saint asked, do you think that's what final shape actually means? Us learning and wielding all our powers without Ghost and seeing our overall final transformation shape? Possibly.
I mean, as I don't know, as dumb as Ghost is, I would really hate to lose Ghost unless they replaced it with some sort of companion as we left.
I really feel like us losing Ghost is coming though. I think that the first step to that happening and us accepting it was the hesitation in shooting Ghost.
Yeah.
I do think it's going to come though, because I mean, Ghost, I think, is the one character that would understand if you had to kill them to save the universe. That's why I was saying, like, I kind of wouldn't have minded if we had to shoot Ghost down to prevent the link with the Veil, and we spent the next year with like a Puka or something, and we spent time like repairing Ghost and like fixing him or something. Where was that light dampening technology that they used on Zavala's Ghost, by the way? Where was that shit at? That would have come in handy.
Yeah.
Anyways, I digress. Their generalist goes, favorite glaive, go. Glaive main Corey.
Oh gosh, the what's it called? Kogroth's thing? What's it
Judgment
called?
of Kel'Garath.
That one. Yeah, I like that one. That one's fun.
Yeah, I'm pretty inclined to say Judgment of Kel'Garath as well, but goddamn, Winterbite and Vexcalibur are both making really strong plays for my heart right now.
Here's the thing. I will revisit this question after I play around with those more and more, because I haven't really played around with them all that much.
Yeah, I'm going to say for a legendary one, I'm going to go Judgment of Kel'Garath as well. I think that, especially having Incandescent is just wildly fun on a fucking glaive.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun, but also, man, if we're going to talk favorite exotic, because there's 5 exotic glaives now.
I know.
5 of these bad boys.
I just hate to waste my exotic slot on a glaive, you know?
Oh my god, no, this is Gallarhorn discourse all over again. We're not having this conversation. Winterbite is so good it's disabled in the day 1 race, Corey.
No, I get that. I just mean like before this one. I meant like the other ones just
yeah. The 3 that you could get in Witch Queen were ass.
Yeah, they just felt super underwhelming.
They were terrible.
I don't want to waste my spot on this guy.
That's fair. That's fair, but you would waste a slot for Vexcalibur or for Winterbite.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm
gonna go in terms of functionality. I think I like Winterbite better right now, but I think that, I mean, obviously, Vexcalibur is the coolest looking weapon that Bungie's ever made in any game ever. So, like, honest Bungie, if you were gonna sell me a weapon replica, Vexcalibur was the time to do it. I had my wallet pulled out when it said Bungie reward now available on my screen after finishing that mission, which I later found out was a mistake. Corey, the amount of speed with which I opened up a web page to see if I could buy like a heavy duty foam replica of Vexcalibur was unreal.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past you to do that.
It was unreal. I'm just saying. And then our final question tonight comes to us from Tiger Jesus. Do you think Kovstov will come back as a craftable exotic like Revision 0? If it does, it's in the final shape.
Craftable?
I would love it to be craftable. I'm going to be totally honest.
Man, I do see it coming back, to be honest. I don't... Man, I don't know. It's coming back. It's coming back. I don't know how, but it's coming back.
I mean, we use it in the fucking cutscene.
Well, we don't.
We damn near do. Kaido's like, pull the goddamn trigger.
No, I mean, like, we don't. It's just in the cutscene, and then it disappears again.
It's
like,
still there. Canonically, our Guardian is running around with a white auto rifle.
I mean, it was exotic in
what happened to my one from Rise of Iron? Oh, wait, it got nuked with everything else I had in Destiny 1.
My point stands is that it's not really there. It's a fake out. It's dumb.
Anyways, I think it's still coming back. That's my final say on the matter. I think it's coming back.
Yes, I agree. It's coming back. Craftable, TBD. I do hope it comes back as that exotic that you can manipulate and switch around, though. Unless that's how you craft the version of the gun that you want, I guess.
It would be interesting. But yeah, the point remains. I do think this is coming back.
Yeah.
It's either going to be in the season right before final shape or in final shape if it comes back, though.
Yeah.
So, Corey.
Yes.
Let's do something we haven't gotten to do a whole lot lately. Let's go to the lore corner.
Lore corner, everybody.
Lore.
Quite excited for this.
Yep. Pick 2 pieces out from Lightfall. One from Lightfall itself and one from the seasonal activity. The first one is the exotic ship you're going to get from doing 1400 Triumph score on Neomuna. The foremost Vimana. Set your sights higher and higher still. They emerge from the pod in a cloud of sublimated breath, their eyelashes rimmed with ice. Cryosleep stiffens their joints, and when they attempt to stand, their knees buckle. A massive hand dwarfs their own, pulling them upright. Time to get going, kid. They look up and up into the weathered face of a giant. It's Dara, old timer. Rohan's stern features split into a smile. In the days to come, they will learn how rare a sight this is. There are no smiles to go around when drills bore into bone until they taste marrow, and metal lattice work replaces the dermis of their flayed open throat. As the cradle lowers them into the side reel, the droning hum of a nonilian nanites fills their ears and drowns their fear. Dara burns and freezes and itches inside new skin. Each day is suffering, so tomorrow can live on. Dara's voice, resonant from new cybernetics, rings out as they complete the Cloud Strider's oath. Simulated applause fills the Hall of Heroes, swelling with the fanfare that follows. Hundreds of mobile platforms pack into the space, and thousands more people watch from the Cloud Arc. Hollow flowers cascade down over the room like confetti, and pukas dance in the light of rain. Rohan lifts them up, eye to eye with him. Their chest swells with pride, their body metamorphosed into something new but always their own. And Nimbus takes their first step as a Cloud Strider. Yeah, I think this is kind of interesting, giving us a look into the process you go through to become a Cloud Strider, but also giving us like one final coda on Rohan and Nimbus's friendship.
Yeah.
Which this kind of hitting a little hard. I played through the mission last night where Rohan dies, and it affected me a little bit differently, I guess, after having done that exotic quest and knowing what a dark place it's going to take Nimbus to ultimately.
Yeah.
That was really cool for me, and I think that lore like this brings up interesting questions of, well, if Destiny continues on for another 10 years, well, not even 10 years, I think Nimbus has been a Cloud Strider for less than a year or two at the time of Lightfall.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that last week,
Yeah,
right?
will we eventually have to come back for Nimbus's funeral?
Yeah.
And that's a fitting question to ask at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, very, very interesting there. And then our second piece that we're going to read is the Royal Executioner. This is the fusion rifle for this season. I get dirty so my queen doesn't have to. Sometimes it's a sacrifice, but most times I enjoy it. Petrovenge. Petrovenge looked down at the weapons range where the Crosshairs practiced advanced infantry tactics. The pop and sizzle of live ammunition filled the air. It was only a matter of time before the Awoken were pressed into battle once more, now that the eternal war had taken Queen Mara to Earth. The Queen planned to stem the Witness's advance by imbuing the Guardians with her powers, allowing them to stage counterattacks via the Ascendant Plane. She dubbed them her Queen's Guard. Petra frowned. The Vanguard had proven to be staunch allies, most recently during Zuvorath's siege of the Leyline network. Nevertheless, Petra had reservations about allowing Guardians to wield Queen Mara's power. Though they appeared civilized, the Lightbearers were not far removed from the utter barbarism of their Dark Age. She sensed that same savagery still seething just below the surface. Petra wondered if the Vanguard would ever be worthy of Mara's beneficence. But the Witness achieved its aims, all else would be irrelevant. She turned her attention back to the Crosshairs infantry drills. Whatever the outcomes on Earth or Neptune, the Awoken would be ready. The Queen's wrath would guarantee it. I find this fairly interesting when we talk about Petra's role in the story and where she's at now. Petra hasn't been seen since the events of Lost. And even then, I believe she was only seen in like audio messages and whatnot. Petra hasn't actually been seen in game in a hot minute.
Yeah.
And one of the takes I was seeing on this is like, I can't believe that Petra is that cold towards Guardians. She had a great rapport with us. That's the point. She had a good rapport with our Guardian and with Cade. Cade was helping her clear the reef, and we helped avenge not only the death of Cade, but to clean up the reef for her in Mara's stead.
Right.
We helped her eventually get to Mara's throne world. No, not throne world, but to the Queen's court. We eventually helped Petra get there. and get the explicit confirmation that Marasov is in fact alive. Petra trusts us. She doesn't trust the majority of the Guardians, and with good reason. Similar to the Neomunans, who watched us through their lens from Neptune and were like, "Yo, these guys are nuts," because all they saw were the warlords, and it scared the Neptunians so much that one of the first Cloud Striders we learn in the exotic quests came to Earth to erase any and all records there, and I think they also did it on Venus,
Mm-hmm.
of the existence of the third Exodus mission.
Yeah. Which
That
is crazy to think about.
it's crazy to think about, but they were terrified seeing that, and I can't blame them. And that's how they view all light bearers until we arrive. Like, they kept an eye on us. It's, it's implied that they were watching us during the Red War and whatnot.
Gosh, that's so
They,
crazy to think about that they like knew we existed. We had no idea.
yep,
Just no idea.
no idea. And they somehow didn't get it. They didn't get bothered by the pyramids when they came into the system. They didn't get bothered by Oryx. They didn't get bothered by um Zivu Wrath, by Savathun. Nobody. They didn't get bothered
So
by any of them. Even, well, Savathun knew they existed, and like, why would she attack them? She was hiding the fucking veil there. Why draw attention?
right.
But I think that's the even crazier thing,
Yeah.
is that she knew.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just so many funny things, and that Osiris ultimately, some good comes of him being possessed. He learns about the existence of Neomuna and the veil.
Yeah. That's
So
so just man.
it's so good. I can't wait to see what role Petra has. I believe Petra has a role to play in this season, from what we were told before the season came out. But I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I like Petra as a character. I don't mind her. I know some people don't really care for her, but I like her.
Yeah, I think she's an interesting character. I would just like to see some more like character development like this. I'm good with. I'd like to see some of it explicitly in game though, and not just in the lore books. I'd like to see
Right.
a little bit of this happen. Like, I'd like for her to show up to the farm to help. I wonder if her role is still to come this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. Which would be great.
It would be great. Well,
Well,
Corey, I
Josh,
think that does it for us.
I think it does. I want to thank everybody for listening and or watching. I want to thank everybody for hanging out in the Discord, hanging out with us. Join the Discord. Follow us on Twitter at Tower Casuals. Welcome to all the new listeners. I
Oh
don't
my God, so many new listeners.
I don't I don't like to toot our own horn very often, Josh. It's not something that we do.
No, it's
But
not.
I am very proud of this week. Was the biggest week 1 week listener rate for one episode we've ever had.
Yeah,
And
it's our Lightfall review is already what is it, our third most
I
listened
think
to?
it's more than that now. I'm looking it up right now.
Is it second? When we looked at the numbers this afternoon, it was already the third most listened to episode ever that we've done.
Yeah.
It very well could be second now. If it was second, it would be second only behind our Witch Queen review.
Yeah. According to this, well, I thought it was going to show it, but anyways, yeah, I'm just this show. It is our highest listened to episode now by 13 listens
Okay,
in
so there
1
you
week.
have it. As of tonight, we have in 1 week we have officially surpassed our highest ever listened to episode with our Lightfall review. Thank you so much to everyone who listens each and every week, whether this is your first week or this is the 130th episode you've listened to of us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's incredible. Our community is so great, and I need to do a better job of hanging out with everybody in the Discord and stuff, but just it's awesome. So thank you, everybody. Also, Josh, thank you, because I don't think it's a big secret that you're the heart and soul of the show. So
I mean, I'm the soul. I don't know about the heart.
we make a good team, I think.
We do. We've always been a good team. I love doing this. I've said every week, this is the highlight of my week. This show has really kept me grounded through some really really rough times over the past couple of years. This week in particular was a really rough week. It has, in fact, hashtag been a week. It's been really hard. For those of you who don't know, I shared with it from I shared it with my raid team and with Corey, but most of y'all know I listen that listen regularly know that I take care of my mom. It's basically my full time job. She's my grandma. She's 86, almost 87. She's been battling lung cancer for the last 6-7 months, and it is terminal. She had a heart attack on Sunday, so kind of had to drop everything I was doing on Sunday, go take care of her, and try and take care of her this week. And you know, she's home and she's resting now. But there was definitely some damage to her heart, and hospice is going to have to start doing a little bit more for her. So in the midst of all that, this show has really helped kind of keep me grounded and give me something to look forward to doing when things are kind of bleak. So thank you sincerely if you take time out of your week to listen to this show. Thank you, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it means a lot to both of us for sure. Josh, where can we find you?
Twitter at Justin_Finn, 2 N's. I'm using Twitter a lot less these days.
As are most of us, I think.
Yeah, I think as most of us are. You can find me in the Discord though, as Finn. I hang out in there a lot, talking and chat with everybody. But yeah, looking forward to this next week. We're gonna do 2 episodes this next week. I'm gonna be doing a raid recap, most likely on Monday, possibly Tuesday morning. It really depends on when I can get people together to do that. And then I may even have it ready for Monday. Frankly, I'm gonna see when I can get one recorded, and then we're gonna do our regular episode on Thursday.
Yeah, I actually won't be here on Thursday, so
that's right. I will guest host for next week, TBD.
Yeah. So you can follow me at I am Corey HD on Twitter and Instagram. You can join the Discord. It's a good place. Ask questions, do your thing, play with us. Follow Tower Casuals at Tower Casuals. I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening. Until next time, we love you. Goodbye.